Hello, book connectors. Welcome back to the Book Connection. Visitors, if you happen upon the channel, feel free to join us. We'd love to have you here. Well, hello there, beautiful book connectors. Welcome back to the Book Connection. I am your host, Blue-Eyed Black Devil. And in this video, I just have a couple of announcements I want to make right quick. And the first one, I guess I'll just start with Billy Joel. Now, I have finished reading the book. I am in the process of compiling notes. I hope to have it posted by Saturday at some point throughout the day. So be on the lookout for that. That book, I tell you, it just never stops going. His life was really fascinating, or is fascinating to me. He seems to have been destined for some form of greatness. I'm not a prophet. I just know what I read and what I hear, and I do have pretty good discernment. But anyway, yes, were it not his music talent, I do believe he would have been an excellent scholar, especially on history, and more specifically, military history. Now, I do realize, I don't think I said in the last video, but I know I told you all about the documentary of his family that you can find here on YouTube called The Joel Files. I did watch that since I last posted a video. And I think when Billy learned of his family's ancestry, he just kind of developed a fascination with history in general. Because, I told you, I think in the first part, that Billy's father and grandfather were really basically run out of Germany. His grandfather really, he wasn't a wealthy man, but he was able, his company over there in Germany had just started taking off, and his grandfather, his grandmother, and their only child, who is Billy's father, they were living, better than, I guess, the average person. And then when Hitler and the Nazis got to clowning, I don't want to go into all of that. But yes, I think that he was born with a historic spoon in his mouth, so to speak. What he did was expand on it. So I found that really fascinating. And another thing about his father, now, I told you all that despite him, when his family did make it over here to the United States, and their son, Howard, eventually was reunited with them over here, he did go on and serve in the U.S., I want to say Army, but I don't know which branch, but he was in the U.S. Armed Forces. After that was up, he met and married Billy's mother, but I also told you he left. I think Billy was 9 when his father left. He had told Billy's mother that he didn't want to have any more children. One time she thought she might have been pregnant, and he just didn't react in a positive manner. And so she was like, well, I tell you, if I am pregnant, okay, but if I'm not pregnant, I want a piano. I don't think she herself played, but she still had a great love of music. Now, Billy's father did play, and play extremely well. Matter of fact, had it been up to him, he would have studied to become a concert pianist. Well, that apple did not fall far from the tree at all with regard to Billy. Okay, I'd heard about Billy and I heard a little bit about his father. And I think just over time, I think I do vaguely remember hearing that he had another brother. Because, okay, so the man didn't want another child with Billy's mother. But he just decided he didn't want to stay in the United States. In the last video, I think I told you that he went back to Germany. But I was wrong. He went to Austria, where he met some lady, I don't know her name, but this lady became Billy's brother's mother. So here we go. Let's see if I can connect these dots. We have two siblings growing up on two different continents. The one common denominator is the father. Now, when Howard left Billy, like I said, I think he was 9, and Billy never saw him again until he was. Some sources said he was 24, and some sources said he was 31. I'm talking about Billy, that is. But whenever he saw him, he was performing a concert. Somehow some strings were pulled backstage behind the scenes, and they met up at one of his shows for the first time. His dad was bemused about Billy's performance. And I think if I had to give an educated guess, my guess would be that it's not that man probably was not overly excited about Billy, because he probably knew that Billy had it in him. I told you he used to play when Billy was growing up, but every time he got through playing, he would be in such an even worse mood than he was before he played it. I still don't know what that was about, unless maybe he just regretted never being able to follow his own dream. I don't know what it was, but either way it goes, that's what he learns of his brother, Alexander Joel. They call him Alex. Now, guess what else these two brothers have in common? That's right. Alex is also a highly acclaimed musician. But unlike Billy, Alex stuck strictly to the classic, in the classical composer sense. And when I say classic, I don't mean rock and roll, country, R&B, whatever you want to say, within the last 20 or 30 years. No, I mean the classical music. Your Stravinsky's and your Rachmaninoff and Prokofiev and Tchaikovsky, along with Mozart, Bach, Beethoven, Brahms, Chopin. I could just go on for days. Now, I don't believe that his brother went all the way back to Gregorian chant. But this man has built a stellar career of his own works over in Austria. That's his home. That's his biggest home base, but he did live in the U.S. for quite some time. I think he also teaches somewhere over there. So it was good to know that. As for a relationship between the two brothers, I really didn't see anything that said that they were like long lost brothers or anything, but I think that they very much respected each other and applauds the work that they do. And because Billy's back into the classical music, it has been ever since, well, his last pop album, rock album, whatever you want to call it, it was released in 1993. So that means that Billy's been back in his classical bags now for over 3 decades. Wow, Mr. Joel. Anyway, I didn't mean to go on and on and on about that, but yes, I do plan to have that video up by Saturday. Now, moving on. I have a bit of a confession to make. So, I am in here going back over notes, tweaking, thinking, trying to see how I want to phrase such and such and such. And so this book, for some unknown reason, came across my feed. And the name of the book is Finding Life Inside. Let me get it right. I'm going to have the book cover up there when I say something. But anyway, the whole title of the book is Finding Life in the Land of Alzheimer's, One Daughter's Hopeful Story. The author is journalist Lauren Kessler. Her name sounds so very familiar to me, but why, I just don't know. But I decided I would just start reading that book. Just mainly at the time, I thought it was for just mindless chatter as I was compiling my notes. But probably by the time we got to the first chapter of that book, I was like, no, I'm going to have to stop because this would be a great video. But yes, I never heard of it before. And this book was excellent. I've read one other book, but it was about 25 years ago. I don't even remember the name of it, but it was also based on this lady's journey through Alzheimer's with her mother as well. And I remember crying reading that book, just crying. It was just it was sad and touching and all of the same things that Miss Kessler has brought out in this particular book. Miss Kessler, Lauren Kessler, she doesn't pull any punches. She's seeing absolutely nothing through rose-colored glasses. And what I like most about this book is I am trying my best to, I want to do a so-called deep dive about some stuff that I have dealt with in my life. And I want to try to tell it along the same way that Lauren Kessler wrote her book. Mine won't be a book, it's just a YouTube video. But I typically speaking, if I just have to read nonfiction, I would like it to be in the narrative form. Matter of fact, she is known as writing narrative nonfiction. I never even knew that was the category. But anyway, she talked like she was talking to a long-lost friend, or maybe even someone just meeting. It was very personable. And that's what, aside from the information she gave, that's what I took away from reading this book. So I said all of this to say that I'll probably run that video before I get Billy Joel's up. It's not the slighting, it's just that I was so impressed by this Lauren Kessler's book, so I'll get that up. It was a quick read, and hopefully for some people it'll be eye-opening and we can share. In the meantime, though, I am going to get up for now so I can get to work. Chop, chop. So, subscribers, thank you so very much for being subscribed. I couldn't be here without you. Visitors, now you know you might as well just come on over here and join us. We love to have you. Everyone, please do not forget to like, share, comment respectfully, and by all means, make sure your notification bells are not only turned on, but make sure you leave them set to all. Why? So you'll know every time YouTube decides to let one of my videos go through. And in the meantime, book connectors, until we read again, remember this. As long as there are books around, there is always something to read. Book lovers, be safe out there. I hope you had a wonderful Wednesday. And until we read again, like I just said, be safe. God bless. Bye-bye.